This is what we call a cartilaginous joint. It's really important that you get the pronunciation of the name right. You might find it easier to break it down. So it's cartilaginous. You're expected to draw the structure of the cartilaginous joint. So you might want to use an image like this one here to help you draw that structure and to label it up to say this is how it's made. The first thing to think about is actually why is it called a cartilaginous joint, and we're going to touch on that now. So the structure of a cartilaginous joint is made up of hyaline cartilage, which is found at the top of the bones, or the base of the bones. The hyaline cartilage is so small on this image that you can't actually see it. It's glossy and it allows or creates some lubrication. In between the bone is what we call fibrocartilage, this white section here. It's quite dense in terms of its structure and is there for a specific reason. If you think about when an athlete's jumping up and down or running on the spot, there's lots of movement happening there in terms of impact. So this has a big role to play. It acts as a shock absorber, similar to your Nike Air Max shoes with the air bubble at the bottom. This is that for your bone here. Now, the next thing to consider is actually where are these types of joints located. So you'll have to think about these two images here, and they're two images that you should be familiar with because we've covered them in previous lessons, and actually what are those images and where are the cartilaginous joints found in those images. The next thing we need to consider is actually how much movement does it create. Well, you may have heard the word slightly movable joint. The actual name for a slightly movable joint is what we call cartilaginous, so it is slightly movable. Finally, we have to think, well, why are these joints important for athletes? And there are a number of reasons. And the next question we might need to consider is, if we didn't have this type of joint, what would be the issue? So by the time you've watched this video, you should have a picture of or an illustration structure showing the structure of a cartilaginous joint and lots of information about actually how the joint's put together and why it's put together like that. Please take your time to watch the video. If you need to take it back and put it to a part where you need to go back to and document on your worksheet.